Alright guys, welcome back. Episode number 3? Episode number 3 of the Wackadoo Racing channel. So, just want to give you guys a little pan around and see what we got. We got a little Blitz out there, a little car. Then we got Cerberus, the big car. Bronson, the little car. And Hidalgo. That's
29 feet of freight train goodness.
It's not a car.
Not a car.
Not a car at all.
Oh, your neighbors must love you.
Yeah, not so much.
This is what we're going to be going over today, guys. Got a little bit of stuff we got to go over, where we got it from, where it's sitting. There's a lot of work that's got to go into this thing, but we wanted to get it on the channel, get you guys introduced to it so you know what we're talking about. When we say Project Hidalgo, this is it. And just to give you a little reference, it's a cowboy truck. It's a big boy truck. This one's going to be fun. I got a moose. This one's going to be a fun one to go over. There's a lot of work that's got to be done to it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the towed around vehicle for all of the Wackadoo Racing cars. Going to the track, going to Han, going wherever the hell we want to go. Cars and coffees with car. Imagine this, guys. You got Hidalgo, all done, ready, running, and then you got little Blitzer on the back. Or we even got, Cerberus or Bronson hanging off the back of this truck. It would be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Stay tuned. I think you're gonna like what we got for you today. Back for another episode. What do we got today? What are we looking at?
So today we're covering a 1974 Chevy C30 ramp truck, Project Hidalgo.
Nice. So give me a little background on it. Tell me where you got it. Where'd you find it?
I initially got, like everyone else, really ecstatic about the concept of a ramp truck when I saw the episode Roadkill where they ended up getting theirs. And ever since then I've tried to find one, but there's a few things that were inhibitive of that. A, in California, finding a crew cab is very difficult. That's not astronomically expensive. B, when you do find them, most of them are smog era trucks, which I didn't want to deal with. I wanted something pre-75 so that I didn't have to smog it, so that later on if I want to do a Cummins swap or LS with turbos and all that, I can. Whatever I want to do, I wanted that to be the case. I also wanted a truck where it was going to be going up in value. I wanted a classic truck. I didn't want to keep buying new trucks and letting them degrade and fall apart and then not being able to spend $65,000 on a new truck. So I wanted to build one truck that did everything I wanted. So I found this one. Now, ramp trucks in general have a lot of positives and negatives to them, and there's a lot of gray area for legality. So finding them in California specifically is very difficult. So I ended up actually sourcing this one from North Carolina. And it cost me almost as much to have it shipped to California as it did to actually purchase the truck. So there are some things about it that are good, there's some things that are bad. The main thing is, it's from North Carolina. There is rust all throughout the truck. What I did not anticipate was that the hole that sold it to me had gone to such lengths to make it seem better than it was. So you get down here, you start seeing how bad it really is.
you realize that I've got more work cut out for me than I anticipated. Now, here's the kicker. When you go to such great lengths to cover all the rust, that you start packing things in there like newspaper and tinfoil, let's see what's behind door number 2. Watch this. That's right. He used a sock.
Now, as you can see on the front of it, I've already started replacing some of those components that were really bad. I don't have any video of that, but we're gonna start keeping you up to date as we start doing the stuff from here on, like the floor pans, which we'll show you in a bit. But we've already replaced the hood, the fenders, the inner fenders, all the lenses and blinkers and headlights and grill and molding and bumper, and then I made a lower valence for it.
Yeah, you did. How long did that take you to make?
All day.
All day, huh?
All day. Because unfortunately, we're still learning the new bead roller we just built. So I had to ruin a few pieces of material before we got a pass that we were happy with. But I'm content with it. Obviously, these are the stock Steelies that I've repainted and put fresh tires on. All the tires on this truck were shot when I got it. Everything about this truck is pretty much horrible. So everything I'm going to have to touch by hand, fix it, and do it right from the beginning. So from the firewall forward, you're seeing what's been done. From the firewall back, it's a certified rusty nightmare. But you'll get to watch the process as we go through and make it all right.
So speaking of rust, I mean, obviously we can see what's down here.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit of rust down here.
Let's show you what the bottom of the floor pan looks like here.
Good Lord Almighty. Let me just wave at the camera. There we go.
Get that front up there.
Yeah, let's take a look at the front too, because I think the front is maybe, yeah. Did you put the foot through the floor, or did somebody else?
No, I was lucky enough to get it from North Carolina like that.
Jeez. So why is this thing so rusted out? It had floorboards on it before, or it had...
So initially the truck had floorboards on it. It ran steps, and the snow was sitting on those steps and just eating the bottom of the doors. The doors actually were rusted up to here, so I've replaced the doors from an 87 Suburban. These ones are electric lock and electric window, so when we do make a sub-harness for that, I'll have keyless entry. I want to have all the creature comforts and amenities that a modern truck would, so I want remote start and things like that. So ultimately I wanted to do this anyways. It's going to save me some trouble, but it also made it so I don't have to reskin the nasty old doors. Ultimately we're going to do a custom interior. We're going to keep it a 3+3. It'll have a bench front and a bench rear. And I'll end up doing something with the door panels and all that, but custom interior will come later, because we're going to end up doing a center console with subs and stereo and a proper headliner and all those things. So, but for now, I can't really start on any of that stuff until I get this floor replaced. LMC truck was able to hook me up with all the panels that I needed, so now it's just a question of labor. So I got to cut everything out, weld everything back in, but then I can throw down my carpet. I can start worrying about mounting the seats and getting the seats upholstered and all those things.
Nice. So you went from hand power everything to now you'll have full power accessories through and through.
Correct. And ultimately I want to be able to jump in the truck, hit the keyless entry, hit the remote start, have it turn on, have it start running the air conditioning while I'm finishing up what I'm doing or loading down a car, whatever we need to do. So I want it to be convenient to use this truck. I don't want it to be a huge nuisance to try and take it out on the road.
All right, so tell me about this bed. I mean, it's kind of the elephant in the room. You don't see ramp trucks out in Cali too much.
So there is a lot of legal logistics that I'm going to have to be very careful to adhere to as we move forward. That being said, I don't know all of it just yet. So we're going to have to kind of walk that minefield carefully, and I'll let you guys know if any complications come from that. But a few things we do know: this bed is hard mounted to the frame, which is not a good idea because ultimately it ends up breaking the mounts off. So you're supposed to mount the bed to wood, the wood to the frame. So that's going to have to happen. This bed's going to come off. We're going to end up reskinning all the sheet metal. We're going to putting coverage down in the center that we can put more traction on. That horrible headache rack is coming down. We're going to streamline that, use LEDs to replace everything. This rear section is going to get replaced. I'm going to end up Frenching in some 69 Camaro tail lights.
That'll be an awesome little...
The 3-piece back window's coming out. We'll put a 1-piece glass in. So a lot of it needs to just be done where it's more utilitarian and more cleanly. So even that's the only cabinet on the entire bed of the truck, and that's unacceptable. So we're going to have sliding drawers and cabinetry, and ultimately I want all these panels Zeused on, so if I do end up needing to replace any of them, I can do that. So it's gonna all have to be redone, and that's not too scary. That's easy compared to replacing those floor pans.
So we kind of gave you guys a little sneak peek of what's actually going under the hood.
Let's show you what's in it now. And this thing is disgusting. I have no there's no point in polishing a turd, so I didn't. So this is a factory 350, and it's mated to a severely damaged SM465 dual PTO 4-speed. And there is your basically bone stock 350.
Wow, that's crazy. Hey, look at that header right there. It stops right there under the cab.
Yeah. The mufflers had completely rotted out, so we ended up cutting them off because there was no point in having them on there.
Right.
It was easier to take them to the scrap heap.
Yeah, exactly.
So inner fenders have been replaced, fenders have been replaced. We're gonna end up making a bunch of coverage panels that come in here that'll make everything look really nice. And we'll get rid of this horrible 350, and we'll end up using the Cadillac 472 that we're building at the house. So we'll show you that too. But all this is going to get cleaned up, and ultimately it'll look nice, and everything will be serviceable and cleanly.
All right, guys, we're back. Had to bring the truck back to the house. It's getting a little hot, Southern California on a Saturday in the summer. Getting pretty warm, so we had to bring her back in the shade over at the house. Got something else we want to show you guys take care of too. You've seen it already, just a little bit, but now I think would be the good time to actually take a real look at it.
So I told you we were going to talk about the motor. Let's do it.
All right, give us a rundown.
So this is a first generation Cadillac 472. So this is the high compression motor that was used from 68 to 70. So this 472 is from the same family as Cadillac 500. The reason we're using this is these things are torque monsters. Horsepower sells cars, torque wins races. And in this application, it makes it so you can tow much easier. So factory spec, this motor would have made 375 horsepower and 525 foot-pounds of torque. That is ludicrous. So it's only going to have more, since obviously we got manifold and carb and headers and a big cam and stuff like that. So we'll see what it does at the end. It might even be fun to dyno it when we're done. But we're going to be putting it on a run stand and running this motor later. So we'll get into all that stuff a little bit more in depth later. Ultimately, got to get it in the truck, build an exhaust. We're going to have cutouts underneath it and flamethrower, propane stacks on the sides, the whole deal. So it'll be awesome. The other thing is we got to work out transmission. So the transmission that's in the truck right now, as I mentioned earlier, is an SM465. And that's a dual PTO manual 4-speed. They're a good transmission, especially for industrial type work, but the problem is the brass synchros that are in those transmissions from the factory are really prone to failure, and they have in this one. So shifting through the gears is very difficult, and the ratios within the transmission itself are very narrow. So it's hard to get the thing up to speed, and you certainly can't maintain any type of freeway safe speed with the combination it has now. So that'll come out, and ultimately we're going to be mating this to a TH400 and eventually a gear vendor's overdrive. And that'll give us 6 forward gears, which will make it so that on the highway this thing cruises comfortably and we're able to jump in it, turn the key, and sit in traffic in California, and then hit the open road without any issues.
Alright, let's go take a look at this thing one last time. D, any final words?
Yeah. This is the beginning of this project, more or less. So there's going to be a lot to do, and we're going to try and make it fun and keep you guys involved. So if you want to see more of this thing and watch the process as we get it ready to start doing its duty and towing things and going out to shows and stuff like that, like, comment, subscribe, and you'll be able to watch with us as we make this thing awesome. But for now, we're open to suggestions about things you think might make the truck better in the long run, or ideas about how we should do some of the things we want to do. So let us know. Go ahead and comment what you liked about it, or what you think we can do to make it really awesome. But for now, I think that's the end of this one.
Think so, huh? He called it, guys. Wackadoo out.
One quick little PS is it does take a bit of time and energy to edit the videos and try and give you guys some type of quality. So if you want to see more of that stuff, a little bit down and dirtier and quick and to the point, so you're not having to sit through a whole video, you can also follow us on our other social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
We got a TikTok, boys.
We officially have a TikTok, and unfortunately, it's awesome. It's actually a lot of fun. So if you want to add us on there, see a little bit more of what we're up to instead of having to wait for another video, and go ahead and add us on there and you can see what we're up to.